All right, the last video was about pretty simple solving. In this case, we're going to be trying to solve quadratics. Let me just make sure. Hang on. Yep. We're going to be trying to solve quadratics, okay, using various ways. Okay, so here's the thing. If you're given a quadratic equation, okay, let's just say this. The first step is to set it equal to 0. So we could use the zero product rule. So step 1, set it equal to 0. Okay, step 2 is see if you can factor it. Is it possible to factor? If it is, do it. If it isn't, okay, then you can either use quadratic formula. This is better when A is not equal to 1. If A is anything other than 1, use the quadratic formula, okay? And the quadratic formula goes like this. X is equal to negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. That's the quadratic formula. And all you do is identify a, b, and c and plug it into this formula, okay? And if you can't factor and you don't want to use the quadratic formula because a is not equal to 1, then you complete the square like we did last time. Okay, so here we go. Look, a is equal to 3. I don't want to complete the square. That's hard. I haven't even taught you how to do it, and I'm not gonna. So you're going to use the quadratic formula. Or first, we could try to factor it if you wanted to. Okay, if you try to factor it, you'd be like, okay, 3x, x, right? Because it has to be 3 and 1, and it has to be 2 and 1. So I could put a 2 here, and then you could try. And you would get 3 times 2 is 6. This is 1. That's not going to get you to 6. So you think, okay, maybe I'll put the 2 here. But 3 times 1 is 3, and 2, that gets you to a 5, so it's still not going to work. Okay, so we cannot. Didn't I lock it down? Oh, I didn't lock it down, you guys, again. I'm a goofball. Come on. I controlled Z'd this thing. Come on. Come on. Control Z. Why does Control Z work sometimes and it doesn't work other times? Okay, screw it. I don't know what it was. I'm going to make it up at this point. Let's see. It was 3x squared plus 6x plus 2. And it might have been minus 6x plus 2. I'm not sure. But you know what? I'm going to roll with this, okay? Just because. Okay, so I couldn't factor it. So now we're going to use the quadratic formula. I don't know why it goes to red. I hate red. I don't hate red, but A is equal to 3, B is equal to 6, and C is equal to 2. So now we're going to plug it in. Okay, so first thing, I want you guys to do formula. I'm teaching this to you at, like, I keep saying this over and over again. Substitution, and then resolution. I cannot tell you how much this will help you if you're not lazy. Just write the dang formula. It won't hurt you. X is equal to negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Now plug it in, okay? X is equal to negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared, which is negative 6 squared. Oh, it's positive 6 squared, sorry. Minus 4 times a times c. Okay, all over 2 times a. See, all I did was plug in a, b, and c, into this formula. And now just do the math. X equals negative 6 plus or minus. Solve under the square root. 36 minus 4 times 3 is 12. 12 times 2 is 24. Be careful with the signs, guys. Be real careful there. Divided by 6. X is equal to negative 6 plus or minus 36 minus 24 is 12 all over 6. Okay, I'm going to have to shrink this down a little and move it up. Okay, we're not done yet. And first of all, I need to get that square root on there. Okay, and now you're like, oh man, I know a perfect square that goes into 12. It's 4. Okay, 4 goes into 12. So we're going to break up 12. X equals negative 6 plus or minus the square root of 4 times the square root of 3 all over 6. Then we've got to take the square root out, and we'll get 2. X is equal to negative 6 plus or minus 2 root 3 over 6. Well, you're still not done. Because look, you see this? Okay, we could separate this right now. I could write x equals negative 6 plus 2 root 3 over 6. But do you see how all three of these numbers are divisible by 2? So we need to do that. We could factor out a 2 on the top. By the way, if all three are not divisible by 2, you cannot do this. You need to divide these by 2 and you will get 3, 1, 3. Okay? So the answer becomes 3, negative 3 plus root 3 over 3. No, I can't cancel any of that because that's inside the square root. You cannot work with things under the square root and out of the square root. Or if I did the other one, negative 3 minus square root of 3 over 3. Okay, let's see if we can do another one. All right. Let's see. I don't want to do that. That was silly. Don't do that. Move it up. Here we go. Boom. Okay, let's try this one. Again, go through your checklist. Okay, can I factor it? Okay, first of all, is it set equal to 0? Yes. Set equal to 0. Check. Okay, it is quadratic. That's important. Okay. A is equal to 2, so I don't want to complete the square. I'm going to use the quadratic formula. So here we go. X is equal to negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. But Miss Buck, I don't want to write the formula. Suck it up, Buttercup. You can do this, okay? A equals 2. B equals 7. And C equals 1. Plug it in. Negative 7 plus or minus the square root of 7 squared, which is 49, minus 4 times A times C, all over 2 times A, which is 2 times 2. I guess I why did I put 2 times 7? I don't know, I lost my brain. Okay, I guess I could have put 7 squared. I just went ahead and put 49. So x equals negative 7 plus or minus the square root of 49 minus 8 all over 4. X is equal to negative 7 plus or minus 49 minus 8 is 41. All over 4. And that's your answer right there. There's no more simplification. There's nothing that goes into 41. It's prime. 7 and 4 have nothing in common, and there's nothing outside here. So you couldn't do it anyway unless there was something else right here. Those are your answers. All right, next. Try this equation. It says decimal answer. So now you guys are going to be plugging it into a calculator. It says use the quadratic formula to solve for x. Well, there's a problem. You have to go through the steps, you guys. Set it equal to 0. If it's not set equal to 0, you must do that. So we're going to go 9x squared. We're going to subtract x from both sides, right? So it's going to be minus x. Subtract 2 from both sides. I don't actually show this work, you guys, because I think it's useless, but there you go. Okay, now we've done it. Now it says use the quadratic formula. So here we go. X equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. A equals 9, B equals negative 1, and C equals negative 2. It helps to define this, by the way, to actually write it down. Negative B is the opposite of B, which is 1, plus or minus the square root of negative 1 squared, which is going to be positive 1, minus 4 times 9 times negative 2, all over 2 times 9. Okay? X is equal to 1 plus or minus the square root of 1 plus the negative times the negative is a plus. 4 times 9 is 36. 36 times 2 is 72. All over 18. X is equal to 1 plus or minus the square root of 73, which is prime, over 18. And we are done. Get the idea, you guys? It's just math from there on out. It's not hard. Okay, here's the next one. Same thing. move the x over. So you get, wait, didn't I just do that one? Yeah, it's the same problem. Sorry, guys. Let's try that again. Oh, wait, sorry. Let's go back. It said decimal answers. Well, you have to plug that into a calculator, okay? So if you go on to Desmos, which is not up for some reason, let me do that. Let me get Desmos up. No, not, oh, hey, I got Desmos Scientific. That was weird. Okay, so you are going to plug in, let's see what you're going to plug in. You are going to be plugging in, okay? You're going to be plugging in 1 plus the square root of 73 over 18 and 1 minus the square root of 73 over 18. And then you're going to get the decimal approximations, okay? So let's do this. We go 1 plus the square root of 73 all over, I don't know exactly how to do this. Let's try. Can I do this? Can I highlight it? Oh, I can't do that, huh? Shoot, you guys. Okay, clear all. Let's try this. Okay, here we go. 1 plus the square root of 73 divided by 18, and it's 0.53. Okay, that's your answer. And does it say to round off? I'm sure it does. It says round off to the nearest hundredth. Okay, so that would be 0.53. Okay, 0.53. So that was the plus. And you guys are used to putting in zeros. Okay, here we go. Then let's do the minus. So all you have to do is come back here. I love Desmos. Negative 0.42. Okay, negative 0.42. Okay. And that's it. Another one. All right, is it set equal to 0? Yes, it is. So 1 is check. Okay, and then it says the quadratic formula. So we're really not trying to do it any other way. So let's define our A. A equals 3, B equals -1, C equals -8. So x is equal to -b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. X is equal to the opposite of b plus or minus the square root of b squared, which is -1 squared. Put it in parentheses or you will screw up. Minus 4 times a times c all over 2 times a. X is equal to 1 plus or minus the square root of 1 plus 4 times 3 is 12. 12 times 8 is 96, is it? I believe. Yeah. Okay, all over 6. So x is equal to 1 plus or minus the square root of 97 over 6. And then you come to your Desmos. And we're going to go 1. I'll do the plus first just because my brain works that way. Plus 90. What did I say? I don't even remember. Brain work 97. Okay, so we're going to go 97. Nope, we're not going to go there. 97. No, not 7, dude. I said 97. Okay, all over. What was it all over? All over 6. Okay, so then you do that. And then it says to the nearest 100. So there you go. It's 1.81. Round up. Okay, 1.81. X equals 1.81. Or, and then come back and change that to a minus sign, and we're good to go. Or negative 1.47. Negative 1.47. Okay, next. Find all complex solutions. Okay. That's weird that they just put that. Complex, I think that means exact answers as far as I'm looking at it. So again, it's set equal to 0. It checks. 2, I think maybe, no, it says, yeah, no, I guess you get to choose your method. Maybe that's why. Okay, so you could try to factor it. 2 times 1. I don't know if it's factorable. I don't feel like factoring it. I don't like completing the square, but we could, and I might do it now just for this. Oh, no, it's not equal to 1. Never mind. A is not equal to 1. I don't know if that was 2 or 3, but A is not equal to 1, so I'm going to use quadratic formula. And I'm going to erase this. No, come here. Boom. Okay, there we go. All right, so let me change color so I have a variation. A equals 2, B equals -3, and C equals 6. Now it says complex. A complex number has a root, square root sometimes. So basically this is the exact same thing we just did, except for you leave the square root in the answer. Okay, so x is equal to -b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. You don't actually have to copy this one down, you guys. Plus or minus, unless you need to, okay? B squared is -3 squared is 9, minus 4 times 2 times 6, all over 2 times 2. X is equal to 3 plus or minus the square root of 9. I don't know if we did imaginary numbers in this class. So if we did do imaginary numbers, if not, I need to probably, I can't remember, 8 times 6 is 48, all over 4. 9, and I'm going to come up here. 9x is equal to 3 plus or minus 9 minus 48 is -39. Yeah? All over 4. And then if you know imaginary numbers, the square root, you'd break that up into -1 and 39, and that is I, all over 4. I do not remember if we did this or not, you guys. Somebody's going to have to write to me and let me know. Square root of 39 times I over 4, and that's the answer. So I'm not sure if we did imaginary numbers, guys, that's what the answer would be. Okay, I'm not going to do that. Here we go. Okay, now we're going to do discriminant. Okay, the discriminant is b squared minus 4ac. The reason why, okay, first of all, the word discriminant sounds like discriminate, and that's a really good word for this, because if you look at the quadratic formula, look at x is equal to -b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac. Okay, all over 2a. We must have done imaginary numbers. So if you look at this little piece right here is the one that determines whether it's real or whether it's imaginary, complex. Okay, because if b squared minus 4ac is greater than 0, then this thing is going to have 2 real roots. Okay? If it's greater than 0, because you can take the square root, because that's the reason why. You can take the square root of b squared minus 4ac. You can take it because it's positive. If b squared minus 4ac is equal to 0, there is 1 real root. And the reason why is because, look, if this is equal to 0, then the square root of 0 is 0. And you just get 1, negative b over 2a. That's it. Okay? Think about that for a second. Okay? If it's equal to 0, you would have, like, let's say you had something like this. Plus or minus, and then you get 0 here over 2. For example, let's just say, look at b squared minus 4ac equals 0. Well, the square root of 0 is 0. That means all of this disappears, and you just end up with 1 answer. Now, if b squared minus 4ac, try to shrink this down a little. B squared minus 4ac, oh my God, you guys, I can't stand it when it just disappears and then I can't control Z it back. So weird. Okay, here. Well, now that it disappeared, I'll just make up stuff. It doesn't matter. Okay, so b squared minus 4ac. If that is less than 0. In other words, it's negative. You get 2 imaginary roots. Now, so when you're looking at this quadratic, all you need to find out is b squared minus 4ac, and you need to figure out whether or not it fits this situation, or this situation. Because it says compute the value of the discriminant and give the number of real solutions. Ooh, so this one has no real solutions. If it's imaginary, it's not real. Okay, so look, in this case, a is equal to -7, b is 4, c is 2. So b squared minus 4ac is equal to 16 minus 4 times -7 times 2. This is going to become positive, so you can see that this is going to be greater than 0. Okay, 28 times 2 is 56. That's 72. So it has 2 real roots. Okay, if I had given you something like this, let me change it up. If I gave you something like 2x squared minus 5x minus 8, okay, equals 0. Find the discriminant. It's b squared, which is -5 squared minus 4 times a, oh, let me make this positive. A, which is 2, times c. So you get 25 minus 4 times 2 is 8, 8 times 8 is 64. See, this is a negative number. 4 times 5 is 9, that would be 539. Okay, this is negative, so it has no real roots. All right, next. All right, now you're given word problems. In word problems, the only thing I want you to do is figure out which variable. Look, you can only solve an equation if you have one unknown. Okay, so here you have 2 variables. So they're going to give you the value of one of these variables. All you need to do is figure out if it's t or if it's h, and that's it. So it says a ball is thrown from a height of 49 meters, okay, with an initial downward velocity of 2 meters per second. The ball's height h is given after t seconds, okay? That's just telling you junk, like it doesn't matter, okay? It's just telling you that's what this equation is. Here's your question. How long after the ball is thrown does it hit the ground? Okay, well, tell me, okay, what is the height when the ball hits the ground? H is equal to 0. That's what it's really asking. And it says how long. So we're looking for t. So h is equal to 0. When it hits the ground, the height is 0. So 0 equals 49 minus 2t minus 5t squared. And now you need to rearrange it in order. Okay. And now you're going to use the quadratic formula to solve this. A is equal to -5, B is equal to -2, C is equal to 49. So T is equal to -b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Okay, so we get t is equal to 2 plus or minus the square root of 4 plus 20 times 49. Holy cow, I don't know what that is. 980, so 984 all over -10. Okay, so let's separate this. T is equal to 2 plus the square root of 984 over -10. Do you guys see that this is going to be a negative answer? Okay. Do you see how that's going to be negative? This is going to be some positive number divided by negative, and you're going to get a negative answer. We can't have negative time. Can't have negative time. So this answer gets thrown out. Okay? So this one doesn't work, but the next one does because it's 2 minus the square root of 984. That's going to be negative over -10. So now we go to Desmos. I'll go clear all, and we go 2, clear all, 2 minus the square root of 984 divided by negative 10. 2.94. So I don't know what they want you to round it off to. It says round off to the nearest hundredth. Okay. So if we do that, it's 2.94 seconds. 2.94 seconds. That's this one, 2.94. This one was negative something, and we don't care. It can't be negative. Okay, next. I have another one. No. It's not working. Why is this not working? Hello, people. Hello, machine. Here it is. I don't know why it wouldn't move. I'll move it manually. I can do this. Okay. So it says a model rocket is launched with an initial velocity of 65, blah, blah, blah. The rocket height in meter after t seconds. Okay, so h is the height. That's important. T is the time that it takes. Find all values of t. So we're looking for t, for which the height of the rocket is 30. So now h equals 30. So formula substitution, and now you follow, it's a quadratic. So now you follow all the rules. Check number 1. Is it equal to 0? No. Let's make it so and put it in standard form. So I'm going to move the 5t over this way and the 65t. So I'm going to add 5t to both sides. So I'll get 5t squared minus 65t. Because remember, when you jump over to the other side, you change the sign. Plus 30 equals 0. We didn't change the 30, so it doesn't change. All right. By the way, do you see how everything is divisible by 5? I'm going to divide everything by 5 to make it easier. Okay. It's a cool little trick. Check it out. If I factor out a 5, I'll actually show it to you the long way. Then I can divide both sides by 5, and it disappears. And I don't even have to keep carrying it down. So actually, I usually just divide it out in the beginning, but t squared minus 13t plus 6 equals 0. So now you're going to use the quadratic formula. A equals 1, B equals negative 13, and C equals 6. So t is equal to negative b plus or minus the square root of 169, which is negative 13 squared, minus 4 times a times c, all over 2a. T is equal to 13 plus the square root of 169 minus 24. I'm trying to condense it, you guys, because I don't have a lot of space. So I'm jumping some of these like intermediary steps. And that's it, plus or minus that. So we come over here, we go to Desmos, and we write, okay, we write 13, let's see, 13 plus, 13 plus the square root of, my brain is not very big, just kidding, okay, 145, 145, oh, no, 145 here, all over 2. Okay, so you can see that I got 12.52 seconds. That's one of them. That's the positive one. So I would do, I'm so sorry for writing this all over the place, you guys. Just trust this. You keep working down and I'm working over here. So t equals 13 plus the square root of 145 over 2 is equal to 12.52. Okay? 12.52. Now do the other one. T is equal to T13 minus. And you get 0.48. Okay? Now, why do we have two values? Okay. Those both are right. Okay? And see how it says if there's more than one answer, use the or button. Okay, think about it. If you have a rocket and it goes up and it goes down, they're asking you when the height is 30. So right here initially, it looks like it goes right here at time is equal to 0.48. Okay, 0.48 seconds have passed. Half a second has passed, you guys, and it's at 30 meters. And then when it's close to getting to the ground on the other side, okay, now the time that has passed is 12.52 seconds. And then it's also at 30 meters. Do you see it? It hits it twice because it's going up and coming down. That's why you have two answers. Okay, and I believe that's it. Yep, that's it for this video.